Hello, how is it going? And today I'm going to be ranking the Battlefield games pretty much solely on how much I actually enjoy them and how much I fucking despise them. So anyway, without further ado, let's get right on into ranking these games. We'll start with Battlefield Hardline. I would probably put this at a solid B tier. Battlefield Hardline for me was one of those games that was honestly pretty fun to play. Or I actually remember going to GameStop to get Battlefield 4 for my Xbox One, and I had seen where Battlefield Hardline literally just came out, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just buy that one instead. And yeah, it honestly ended up being like a pretty goated game, though I will say that there was a bit lacking of content. However, I did like the overall theme and setting, even though it wasn't military, but yeah, anyway. Next up, we have... Oh, actually, hold on. Wait. I should maybe not... I should go in order, probably. Battlefield 2, I didn't play. Battlefield 1942, didn't play. Battlefield Vietnam, didn't play. I didn't play Bad Company either. And I only played Bad Company 2 single player. Maybe because I was just too young. Anyway, so we'll start off from Bad Company 2, the ones that I played. This, in terms of the single player, honestly, another B. I'd say it's B+, but don't take this literal because I did not play multiplayer. I have no idea if the multiplayer in this game is good or not. Seeing like videos and gameplay footage of it, it looked like your typical Battlefield game. Like it didn't look bad at all. So this for me is only a B tier because of the single player, but you know, it could be someone's S tier or A tier. So, you know, before I get people in the comments rage bait on that, I just didn't play this game nearly enough. However, it was still a solid game to me, I guess. I don't know. Battlefield 3. Well. The game that really started it all for me. Honestly, this game is pretty goated, honestly. I'm debating on whether if I want to put it in an S tier because of the thematic setting and just the overall, I don't know, just the modern theme is just so iconic. And I guess the orange tint from this game just, I don't know, it just made me feel a certain way. But I don't know. S tier for me, it's got to be a game that's like good on a lot of fronts and a lot of aspects. And the only thing that Battlefield 3 struggled with a lot for me was that it just didn't really have anything other than like Conquest and Rush, which was pretty standard for Battlefield games at the time. And I feel like, I don't know, we did get a lot of maps that were good, but also even better maps in Battlefield 4. So I'll say A tier for now. A+. It's a very goated game. And honestly, it was the game that I truly started with. And even though I didn't play much of the multiplayer, I still played a decent amount, at least enough to know that the game was still pretty solid. Enough to know that the game was still pretty solid. But anyway, moving on, Battlefield 4. This game for me, I want to say A+, but at the same time, easily the best modern setting Battlefield game. Yeah, it's S tier. S tier game. It's just goated, honestly. I remember playing the beta on Xbox 360 and just seeing the Levolution and shit. I know it was a fucking gimmick, but much more content than Battlefield 3. Like actual weapon camos and stuff you could unlock that all fit the theme. They didn't go too far out. Soldier camos and shit. The maps were good. Rush was actually a bit better in my opinion on this game than any of the other titles before it. But and yeah, overall it's just a better Battlefield 3. Maybe not at launch, but overall the game ended up being a better Battlefield 3 in my opinion. Now we have Battlefield 1 S+. They have not been able to redo Battlefield 1. I mean, from the fucking atmosphere, the visual fidelity, the dynamic reloads, and even though this game felt stripped of a lot of the customization and like overall depth to the guns themselves with like attachments and shit coming from Battlefield 4, everything just feels like it belongs there. Like it feels like it is truly supposed to be in this game. All of the weapons and like the gadgets, they all seem like they would be rather flat at face value, but there's just so much like depth and visceralness to the gameplay itself, and like everything just feels so fucking meaty and raw. And it's like, it's hard to just deny how amazing the game is just for that fact alone. Then you add in Operations, which was, I think, literally the best additional game mode they could have ever made for the franchise, which led to us having Breakthrough now. And even though the behemoths in this game were like the gimmick of Battlefield 1, it's just something that hasn't been done again that I think actually does more than just be a gimmick. Seeing an enemy blimp or having like the giant French tank on Soissons and Rupture sniper, or even just like the sentries. Like the sentries were cool to run around as like a knight in shining armor with a fucking Villa Perosa just melting everybody you see. But yeah, and overall, it's just the best game, honestly. The best Battlefield experience you can play, in my opinion. But anyway, moving on. Next, we have Battlefield 5. I do have a lot of things to say about this game, and a lot of things that I don't really care to say. For me, this game is a solid, I'm gonna say it's a C. It does do a few things right. Like, I think the vehicles in this game were honestly a step in the right direction coming from Battlefield 1. Even though it was a little against the grain at first, where you have to like refill your vehicles and, you know, you couldn't just sit there and spam. I also thought it helped bring in extra balance that Battlefield 1 didn't necessarily have, although the balance was different because in Battlefield 5, the tanks and planes are very accurate compared to Battlefield 1. The gunplay and stuff in Battlefield 5 was pretty typical of your Battlefield game. There's like a weird sense of like everything's like fish-eyed, or everything's smaller in this. Enemy soldiers like running across the screen or whatever, like from a distance, compared to Battlefield 1 where everything feels more like up close and in your face. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. The live pinging being removed is also a bonus, I think. Honestly, probably one of the best things they could have done. And yeah, the weapons and stuff are all still pretty solid. The game also has a very amazing soundtrack, as well as like Battlefield 1's soundtrack also being amazing. So it's just this game lacks content. Like, it is so fucking lackluster in content. Not to mention the direction they went with monetization, with having people run around as named soldiers or people with a face or whatever, and just like weird quips and stuff. It detracted from the World War II theme. It just doesn't feel as atmospheric, gritty as Battlefield 1 did. And yeah, the sliding also. I don't like that you can spam the slides in this game. I do like everything else, the rolling animations, the backwards prone animations and stuff like that. All of that's good. It's just Battlefield 5 was the start of like this franchise starting to lose its identity. So overall, it could have been better. It could have been worse, but it is what it is. Next up, we have Battlefield 2042. I mean, do I even need a fucking... It's just fucking slop, bro. I mean, I tried to play this game. I really did. Like, tried to enjoy this game. I did not buy this when it released because it was so fucking trash. 190 hours I put in Battlefield 2042, which, you know, for what it's worth, I did say I tried to give it a chance. I mean, I don't even need to go over all the things that this game does wrong. I mean, hero soldiers, fucking a failed attempt at a third mode for like DMZ, the disgustingly trash maps, the netcode, the constant bugs and glitching, just the lack of any sense of direction or like identity with this game. It was just so fucking trash. But anyway, now for Battlefield 6, I'm going to say this game is probably, for me, a D minus, if not slop plus. I'll say D minus just in fairness because it is better than 2042. It still just does a lot, and I mean a lot of things wrong. I mean, the atmosphere, the identity of soldiers, the removal of factions, as was in 2042, the horrendous vehicle gameplay, the gunplay feeling better than 2042, but still so much worse than anything else in Battlefield's history. Like, it feels like a fucking Call of Duty game. Like, you can't compare Battlefield 6 to Battlefield 4 and tell me that this was supposed to be inspired by Battlefield 4. There's just no way in hell you actually sit there and believe that. But I mean, the updates they did to the engine, since Battlefield 6 is using the same engine as Battlefield 2042, is better. The gameplay is smoother. It runs just a little nicer, more optimized. Visually, the game looks better than 2042. It's just, I don't know. It still follows in the same trend that Battlefield 2042 and Battlefield 5 did. Everything just feels like you need a meta. You need to have the best weapon at all times or you're just gonna get fucking shit on. There's no downtime in between like gunfights in this game. Everything just feels like a meat grinder 24/7. It's all engineered with engagement optimized matchmaking to, you know, make you feel like you need to keep playing the game in order to maybe buy some cosmetics from the in-game store or whatever. The battle passes, free-to-play battle royale mode, the limited time modes in Battlefield of all games. You know, I mean, you can't make this shit up, so yeah. And yeah, that's my tier list for Battlefield games. If you agree with it, that's pretty nice. If you disagree with that, I don't really give a shit. It's my tier list. Yeah, anyway, that is what it is. You know, feel free to let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Later.